Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dominions 5, and welcome back to the Mekone campaign. This may be the last video I do on Mekone. I feel like I've kind of felt out how they play, and to be honest, well, I'll talk about them more at the end of the video. I'll save some time to do that. In general, I have to say I'm not terribly impressed by them. My initial impressions were good, but as time went on, the limitations of the nation, how to put it, became more and more apparent. And as you move into the middle and late game, they actually become harder to deal with in some ways. Despite the fact that I've actually gotten pretty lucky in this game and gotten quite a gem income, especially of earth gems, I find myself in a situation where, like, a lot of these air gems I don't really have a lot of good uses for, and my income problems are tremendous. Now, part of that is terrain. I mean, the core land of my empire generates almost no money, but part of it is down to the creation, the characteristics of the faction themselves. So anyway, let's go a few turns more. I have taken Kishia away from Hinnom, and the lore masters that I can recruit here could potentially break me into a lot of different paths. If I'm lucky enough to get somebody who has like 2 death or 2 astral or something like that, that could really kind of kickstart something for me. In terms of research, they're a lot of research, 13 points of research per turn. They're not gold efficient at research because their upkeep cost is very, very high, but the fact that they give me all these random paths could definitely be worth it. That said, I really don't like having to rely on getting random independent mages like that. I would much rather have, you know, strong functional units of my own. We're going to give all of our infantry we're going to put all of our infantry in a couple different groups here. We've got all the hoplites there. We've got the disco bolus and all of the ogres there. What does he have? He has the chainmail of displacement. I do have construction 6. So it would be perfectly viable at this point to focus on forging thug equipment, and I'm moving towards that. I'm forging a couple more dwarven hammers. General Confusion should cast a couple of summons. I could cast Trade Winds. Increases income from the province by 25%. The problem is that really isn't worth it because I don't actually have any high income provinces. Which is definitely one of the problems with Mekone. That, you know, income is very, very hard to come by. I suppose it could be worth it if I cast it in Solam, because Solam has 118 income. I need to put some defenses in Solam, incidentally. And I also need some in Bountiful Land. With all the fighting I've been doing, it's been hard to maintain defenses because provinces are getting taken and retaken so quickly. So, I've got that army moving, I've got this army moving, I have... This army is still mustering. Now, fortunately, since all of my main commanders are mages, it's easy enough to get magical leadership for terracotta soldiers and things like that. I do have my fire drakes now. They are undisciplined, but they have their fire breath and they're highly fire resistant, which means I can throw fireballs and falling fires and stuff around them without worrying. Research-wise, I'm going up to enchantment level 6 just because I want to get Sow Dragon Teeth, and after that, well, actually one strategic move at this point would be to go up to level 7 and cast Earthblood Deepwell to get a whole bunch of earth gems. That could be a decent strategy. That said, one thing that I'm definitely not happy about with Mekone is research. Now, part of this is down to me. I'm bad at getting efficient levels of research. I'm just going to straight up say that. I'm bad at it. But it is turn 40, and my research is 334 research points per month, which is awful. Now, I'm going to fix that. I have a whole bunch of fire gems, and I have pretty much every mage I can recruit in the faction has at least 1 level of fire. So, what we are going to do is we are going to forge Lightless Lanterns, which give a research bonus of 12 for 5 fire gems. They are tainted, but oh well. So we're just going to take all of our little fire mages here, and we are going to spend literally all of our fire gems forging lightless lanterns, which will next turn instantaneously kick our research into much, much higher gear. I mean, because each lightless lantern is actually more research points than an E4 contributes, just by itself. So by giving lightless lanterns to E4s, we effectively double their research. Now, is this an efficient way to spend tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of gems like I'm doing? I'm literally in the process of spending 90 gems forging lightless lanterns. No, it's not. And in fact, well, okay, here's the thing. There is actually another spell in enchantment that I could cast with those fire gems. I'm going to hit level 6, and at level 6 I could cast Eternal Pyre. Now, Eternal Pyre costs 6 fire, and getting 2 6 fire is actually going to be strenuous for me. I believe I talked about this in the last episode. I can get the Flaming Helmet with High Pensor here, can cast the Flame Helmet, which gives a fire magic bonus of 1. That will kick him up to level 4. I can forge the Staff of Elemental Mastery with a very little bit of work. That would kick somebody up to 5. That last level of fire, though, fire doesn't have many boosters. I mean, the only other booster that I can think of right off the top of my head is the Skull of Fire, and that requires a Fire Death crosspath. If I'm lucky, I could get that from a Lore Master over here, because of course Lore Masters can have any combination of paths in the game. But having at least 1 fire and at least 1 death, certainly not impossible, a little bit low percentage, but we'll see. That might prove the kick that I need to get up to 6 fire. I'm not going to worry about it just yet. Instead, I'm going to focus on Earthblood Deepwell, I think. So, in the interest of that, instead of spending Earth Gems on summons, I am actually going to spend Fire Gems. I'm going to back to summoning Terracotta Army. And General Confusion, you continue summoning Ogres. That's an effective use of Earth Gems for you to summon Ogres. We're all forging Lightless Lanterns over here. Nope, you need to forge a Lightless Lantern. And you need to forge a Lightless Lantern. You can forge a Lightless Lantern. And you can forge a Lightless Lantern, because you're not as effective researchers anyway. You are casting Clockwork Horrors, which is fine. Clockwork Horrors are all well and good. And who's not forging Lightless Lanterns? Still got 9 gems. I can still forge 1 more Lightless Lantern. Let's have you forge a Lightless Lantern. Okay, so that'll be good. This place is under siege by barbarians, so I can't recruit here. We're moving this little army back to break the siege, which they should do with aplomb. And that, I think, is going to be the end of the turn. Actually, this has been searched for fire. I don't know what the Council of Sages is. I mean, it's fantastic is what it is. Let's have one of you guys search just to see if we can find some earth sites. Yeah, just give them to those guys. You're both throwing fireballs. You are doing Legions of Steel. You're throwing magma bolts. So I'll tell you what, let's keep those there. Archiptolem, you search, and you guys move up into this province. If they come out to fight me, I think I can probably take them, unless they bring out the Great White Bull, in which case I'd be in trouble. But I want to destroy that temple. I don't want that temple to stick around causing trouble, being a nuisance. My army just went down in Amphalia, and so I am reduced to this. Antiphanes is going to die pretty soon, to be honest. So let's just get a little bit of value, a little bit of forging value out of him while he's still alive. And Pramnian, so you see my research is now nothing, but next turn it will jump by several hundred points. We've got 10 of those. Let's give them to Pramnian for now. Set them right up front because they are Clockwork Horrors. And let's end the turn. 11 commanders are doing nothing? Who's doing nothing? Oh, all of you guys are doing nothing. That's right, the Evocation Squad. Horned serpents, wolves, and light bandar archers. That's Galeta, that's Kailasa itself. So this is in Kailasa's cap circle, which is why they defend it so vigorously. Let's kick the province defense of Honoria up as high as we can. And then, since these are hot, they can't cross the river, so let's go take that province. Okay, got a whole bunch of summons. Found no magic sites in Kishia. Ozandius and Snowford have both been conquered. Where's Snowford? Ah, they moved up in that direction. Okay, that's fine. In Droigar, we wiped out province defense. They actually had a lot of units, and it looks like we lost a hoplite to friendly fire. That's unfortunate. But it happens. Kerry and Meyer, they're just taking undefended provinces at this point. Just provinces that I don't have anything in. So that's fine. I was never going to be able to hold that province anyway. That is mainly Longdeads, which is interesting. They've built a fortress there in God's Tomb Mountains. Let's actually go besiege their fortress, just to kind of get it out of my hair. Let's take that province. This army needs to keep moving in that direction, actually. This army's doing fine. Arctolum has got... We're recruiting a few Helot hoplites over here. In Sitala. How did the battle in Sitala go? Let's see how the Clockwork Horrors did against barbarians. I anticipate massive casualties on both sides, probably, because barbarians do hit very hard. Gonna get a couple of fireballs in there, too, though. Yeah, the Clockwork Horrors got whomped on, but also inflicted a ton of casualties. Looks like. And then the hoplites are pretty much just gonna clean up. With their defensive skill and their heavy armor, the barbarians are gonna have a real hard time seriously hurting them. And the barbarians are routed. So in Sitala, yeah, the Clockwork Horrors got 5 kills in that first engagement before they all died, and the Helot hoplites got 13 kills and lost 4 of their number. In Gold Mountains, my small little force attacked a small little force and won. In Two Spruce Forest, let's actually view this one. I'm just viewing this one because I love watching the Evocation Squad go into action. They're so hilarious. Just like, oh, look at us, just a whole bunch of old, unarmored giants. We couldn't be dangerous, could we? Oh, just buffing ourselves up. Gotta make sure we have some protection for our wrinkly old flesh. And here come the magma bolts. Haha, it was a trick. I don't know. I just think it's funny. It's just a whole bunch of old guys. And they seem so harmless until all of a sudden there's fire everywhere. The funny thing about evocation, of course, is that it becomes so much more effective when there are more of the enemy. So, paradoxically, it's actually a bad idea to bring a big force against, like a squad like this. In this situation, they only get a few kills. If you have an army of 100 units, that squad is going to get like 20 or 30 kills, because they're just going to be hurling evocations into the middle of the mass. Okay, so we're doing fine there. We've freed this place up. However, we now don't have any money with which to hire people. So let's go lightless lanterns for everybody. Give me just a second. Let me assign all these lightless lanterns, set everybody back to research. Right now, let's check. My research is 185 points a month. Let's see what it goes up to. Okay, so just to see what happens, I've set everybody on research. I've assigned all of our lightless lanterns, and... okay. That's better. It's still not good for this point of the game, but it's better. It's like, it verges on respectability. It's not respectable, but it's closer to respectability than the 300-something I had was. So lightless lanterns, definitely a good idea in this kind of a situation. I am actually going to lower my research again just a little bit because I'm going to swap some guys over to making lightless lanterns again, which they can do. And I'm also going to give them dwarven hammers, so they can do it cheaply. Okay, so that's where our fire gems are going to be going for the foreseeable future. You are going to monthly forge a lightless lantern, as are you. Every month, 2 lightless lanterns. Good. So that'll be an extra 24 research points per month. Pardon that crashing noise. I just dropped something off the desk. So, with that done, the question then is, I've got these earth gems. I'm getting quite a few more. I'll hit enchantment level 6 in 2 turns. After that, one line of thought would be to go straight up to level 7 and throw down Earthblood Deep Well. That will require 6 earth. I have 6 earth in General Confusion, so I don't need to worry about that. I don't even need to forge anything, although I can forge things if I want. I have 133 air gems. What can I use them on? I can summon griffins. I can spam Seeking Arrow. I could summon a Watcher. Interesting. So Watchers count as 50 soldiers when patrolling a province and can blast enemies with lightning. For 5 gems, that might actually be a good idea. Alternatively, I can summon gargoyles, but that costs earth gems. Or I can summon griffins. Let's summon griffins for now, because I want to save my earth gems. So let's summon griffins. We'll go up to enchantment level 7, and then we will hit evocation again, and we'll go down evocation to get magma eruption at level 6. That will be the research plan. So I have 11 gold, which is not enough to recruit anything there. I'm not recruiting any troops. See, this is, I'll be honest, the major problem I have with Mekone. Their income is such garbage. With all the, between all the unrest they have to deal with and just everything, it's just, it's awful. It's apocalyptically awful. At turn 40, I should be making at least about 2,000 gold a turn. At least. It's just so bad. So you can lead 15 of those guys. You can get 5. Let me see, what fire summons can I do? I can summon fire drakes. I can bind scorpion beasts, but I don't really like scorpion beasts. They're not terribly efficient. Or I can do more terracotta army. Let's summon a fire drake. I don't have any fire gems. What am I doing? Just research for now. I have 35 gold, which is not enough to accomplish anything. Oinius and Pramnian have their little gangs here. We'll just set them in line formation and launch them forward. Oinius, you can... No, not Phoenix Power. You can summon Earth Power, and then you could cast Strength of Giants, but there isn't really anyone that would be useful to cast it on. So just Earth Power, Iron Skin, and Magma Bolts forever. And you, Pramnian, you are 1 at everything. You're just not particularly useful, to be honest. Combat-wise, unimpressive. You can cast Iron Skin, Aim, which gives you increased precision, and then you can also spam Magma Bolts. So there's that. You can at least, you know, you're a Magma Bolts guy. And you can make yourself more precise, which is nice because they only have precision 10 by default. So Oinius and Pramnian, go down there and stop them. Against an actual army, you would get slaughtered. Longdeads you might be able to take, but I wouldn't bet on it. So we've got that. Down here, we've actually got a reasonable army of summons, 66 units. They just need leadership, which means they need a Polemarch, which means I have to stop recruiting E4s and such. So let's stop recruiting the E4 there. Let's recruit a Polemarch instead of an E4 there. I only have 4 fire gems, but I could still forge a firebrand. So let's forge a firebrand, and let's forge a shield of gleaming gold. Actually, I don't want to forge a firebrand because I want to forge a shield of gleaming gold. Let's forge a frostbrand instead, and then you can forge a shield of gleaming gold, which gives awe. He already has pretty decent armor. It's not the best armor, but it's pretty decent. Hypisnor. The Armor of Knights or the Chainmail of Displacement are kind of the armor options. However, first I want to get him a Girdle of Might, which gives reinvigoration. Either a Girdle of Might or one of the boots that gives reinvigoration. I don't think I have access to any of them because I don't have any nature. And the reinvigoration boots are almost entirely nature. Winged shoes? Winged shoes would be pretty solid. The Iron Face is also a great item. It's very, very expensive, however. It gives you 23 head protection, and it auto-casts Iron Skin on you, which makes your natural protection 20. So that's very solid. The Owl Quill is similar to the Lightless Lantern, but lower level at air magic, and only gives a research bonus of 6. That said, it's the same price with a lower research bonus, basically. And I don't have many air mages, so I haven't been churning them out. I could, and that would make my research better. But I'm not going to worry about it right now. Right now I'm going to get the Girdle of Might. So when I recruit this guy, I'll give him his thug gear and an army and send him out. And he will be kind of our first purposeful thug. What level do flying winged shoes cost? They cost air level 2. So I'll tell you what. You forge the Girdle of Might, and you forge a pair of winged shoes that will let him fly. I think that will be pretty good. Pretty good indeed. You, patrol please. You, scouts. I do have 130 gold left, so let's recruit a Geronti just to keep the research rolling. And let's move our scouts out a little bit. This army still doesn't have any good way to deal with great white bulls. My hoplites really aren't enough to do it when he berserks like that. So let's actually... I could go in there, but if he's patrolling, we're screwed. Let's just pull back for now. And those guys are already moving, those guys are moving, these guys are moving. Actually, is anybody moving? Othrionis is researching, which we don't actually really need. Let's go over here, see if we can cut off the snakes. Okay, so in Ozandius, we are attacking Kailasa. And it looks like they didn't move, so it's Clockwork Horrors against the relative might of Kailasa, which is not a whole lot of might, to be honest. And see, the Clockwork Horrors, I mean, they're pretty much murder blenders while they're active. It's just they stop being active so quickly. And one of the slightly less visible consequences of high fatigue is when you have high fatigue, you are more likely... Yeah, an attacker has a greater chance of hitting a weak spot in the armor of a tired combatant. As a unit's fatigue increases, the unit becomes easier to hit in battle. This isn't shown in defense skill, but as your fatigue goes up, your effective defense goes down, and the odds of the enemy scoring a critical hit go up. Critical hits do more damage and or reduce your protection. So it's a bad scene, basically. So in Ozandius, we didn't take any casualties. We killed everything. Oh, we even killed the Guyanka general. In Belmar. Oh, they attacked my fortress. They attacked my fortress with a huge army. And they ran into only the province defense and my cryptes. Great. And they're throwing legions of steel and stuff. Let's see how much damage we do. You can see the awe effect preventing me from attacking the Yavanas. And the Apsaras especially, because they have R4. They have R4. The pirate quality. So, in Belmar, we inflicted a few casualties. We killed 2 of their Apsaras, a couple Clockwork Soldiers, a couple Guyakas, a couple Ogres. But overall, not much. Oh, my Cryptes retreated to the fort. That's nice. Gold Mountain has been conquered. In Anoria, we actually defeated an attacking force. Oh, we moved in the evocation squad. See, this is what I mean. As numbers go up, casualties go up. The force of evocations is multiplied by the number of troops on the field effectively. We did have some province defense of our own, which is nice. But as they come in, evocation squad, ho! We're wiping out some of our own troops there, but doing enough damage to justify it. And of course, we've got our faithful Polemarch standing directly in front, so to soak up all the hits with his fire shield and 31 protection. So they ain't getting past that. And the fireballs are now going back into the archers. Light Bandar archers, of course, have pretty much no protection, so fireballs wipe them out very efficiently. Alright, so that was nice. In Keban, we attacked and reconquered a province. And autumn come, we have declared war, so unrest is going up everywhere. We are under siege in Belnar, and the walls are damaged. We don't have a good way to break out. There's 80 of them, which is a lot. Have I claimed this throne? I haven't claimed that throne yet. I need to do that for sure. Let's move up here, join our Clockwork Horrors. Those scouts can move over in this direction. Let's look at the army setup. We only have 20 siege strength, so they are going to bust through. That said, yeah, wall integrity 296 of 500, so they'll break through within a couple of turns. We are going to have to attempt to relieve the siege. We do not have many units, and the Clockwork Horrors are not going to carve through them with great rapidity. These guys need to move up there. This guy. Let's give him his gear. He's quite formidable, especially with the Shield of Gleaming Gold giving him awe. He's going to be very, very hard to fight, and he has a flying move speed of 20. So it's possible that I could get him into the fortress before it's attacked. Yes, I could. I could jump him into the fortress. Actually, I'll tell you what. I could jump him into the fortress with some griffins. And that would make a very, very interesting relief force. Yeah, let's try that. It does mean he's not going to be able to take any of these units that I've been summoning, but I feel like it might be a good idea regardless. I'm going to give it a shot. Let's research. Are we recruiting another one? Yes, we are. So actually, forget researching. Let's get a shield, a Frostbrand, a Girdle of Might, and what was the other thing I gave him? Oh yeah, Flying Shoes. Actually, instead of the Girdle of Might, you forge the Flying Shoes, and you can forge the Girdle of Might. Yeah, let's get that. That's kind of going to be our standard thug gear set. And I think with that, these Polemarchers are going to be very, very dangerous, because they can still Iron Skin to buff their own protection. They can give themselves Earth Power to increase their reinvigoration to such an extent that I don't think they'll be taking fatigue from fighting in melee, at least not much. And then they can attack rear with their area of effect cold damage and their awe and their very, very high damage attacks. And I think that'll be highly efficient. I mean, gem-wise, that's 5, 8, so 13. These are cost reduced for Mekone by 20%. So that's 8 gems, and then I reduced it again by 2 gems to 6 gems. So this whole kit and caboodle, the way I'm set up right now, costs under 25 gems, which is pretty good for a fairly high-quality thug. So I may turn over to churning out Polemarches almost exclusively at this point. You need to come back down, like, somewhere that hasn't been searched for Earth, but also somewhere that isn't about to be trampled by a huge army, so just kind of flee for the moment. Yeah. Let's go another turn or so. Who's not doing anything? You all are doing something. You all aren't doing anything. And I feel like you should be. Okay, so we've gotten our first lore master. He's gotten air, astral, and death. What can you forge with air, astral, and death? No, not you. Just him. Just him, please. You can forge Banefire crossbows. You can't forge any of the high-level standards. You can't forge much because you only have one level. Oh, you can forge the Shroud of the Battle Saint. But it's armor. That takes away all my really high armor. Still, that's a thought. It automatically, basically, I can put this on pole marches, and in place of having that high armor that they normally have, it gives them automatically a blessing. Which basically means precision and reinvigoration. So could be useful. But is it useful enough to give up 9 points of protection? Reinvigoration is pretty solid. If I can give them a shroud, plus reinvigoration, plus a belt of giant strength, I'm sorry, a girdle of might, that in total, that would give them 6 reinvigoration right at the start. Then Earth Power gives them, I think, another 4. That would give them 10 reinvigoration. That's pretty monstrous. That's probably a good idea. I can give him a Dwarven Hammer, and then it only costs him like 3 Astral Pearls every time he forges one of those things. That's worth thinking about. I'm not going to do it just yet. I am going to have him search for magic sites, because Air, Astral, and Death, I think, is not something Hinnom would have been able to search for. And then I'm going to take Gerenian, just Gerenian, and move him down to steal some Kailasan territory. I have some hoplites and ogres over there, so I'm going to send Sthenelos over to pick them up as well, to add them back to the army. All of you guys are researching. You should still be forging lightless lanterns. Give him a lantern, and give him a lantern. Now, look, forge monthly lightless lantern. Ah, we ran out of gems. That was the problem. Because we're forging all these other items as well. The Shield of Gleaming Gold costs fire gems. So that's where that's coming from. Okay, well, let's go another turn or two. I'm going to try to save Belmar. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to. Who is still doing nothing? Oh. Well, you're defending. Actually, try to assassinate an enemy commander. Why don't you? You... patrol. You research. You research for now. And you have a little slave army. You go take that province. And you guys... yeah, you're waiting. You're both waiting. You're going to search for magic sites for the moment. And we'll add in some province defense to help you keep the place. Okay. Alright, so research in enchantment is completed. We're going up to enchantment level 7 now. We've summoned some more griffins. Found no magic sites. We tried to assassinate a Bandar commander and succeeded, so we killed a Bandar commander. Excellent. Undefended province Sodorth has been conquered by a single Kedesim. That's a little bit embarrassing. Battle in Yildmire. What happened in Yildmire? Crappy humans fought crappy humans, and it looks like our crappy humans came out on top. Farai, who is unscripted because he stinks, is casting buffs on himself instead of anything more useful. That's okay. You know, it's not that bad. He just gave himself more precision with the blessing and then wasted it by summoning phantasmal warriors instead of throwing evocations. Whatever. In Urfel, we are attacking Kailas's, I think, just province defense. I don't think there were any units here. Yeah, this is just province defense. Okay, we got our Legions of Steel up. Let's try another one. Okay, I think we hit everybody. Yeah, should have. And that makes them basically invincible to low-level troops like this. In Kiban, Kailasa wiped out my province defense. In God's Tomb Mountains, we attacked high-level province defense, and once again, just look at the kills. Evocation against massed light infantry is the way to go. So we are besieging that fortress. We've got a ways to go before we break down the walls. In the Barren Crags, the Avites launched an attack. I didn't actually want to view that battle. It's very obvious how that went. Yeah, this army is just still rolling. And in Kiban, ooh, they've got lumber constructs in Kiban. 3 lumber constructs. Lumber constructs have a lot of hit points, and that's all. They're just a waste of time in all other ways. They're just meat shields. They're super meat shieldy against normal units. If you hit them with magical damage, they crumble pretty quickly. Unexpected events. Bad harvest. The strict order of tyranny is restored in the city. We lost population and unrest in Satala. Ooh, 2 spruce forests. Vine men. And the province has been conquered by vine men. In Kishia, also lost unrest, lost population, etc., etc., etc. Ill event in Ossory. Our walls are damaged in Belmar. And patrollers have killed some bandits. In God's Tomb Mountains, wall integrity is only 100, actually, and we do have 30 siege strength. Because our giants are so, giant and powerful. So it'll only take a few turns to break that down. That said, Kailasa will probably attack us before that happens. So, Erythrai is going in here. These guys go in. Iron Skin aim magma bolts. Yep, you're all doing that. And in the army setup, we are going to need to break the siege with all of our mages at the same time. Ooh, actually, he's flying in. And since he's flying, I think he's going to go into the fortification. The fort actually has hardly been damaged further. How can that be? I do not have much by way of defense. I think they might be patrolling. So let's just wait for a second. Let's have him move in. He'll get into the fortress. Or, oh no, the assassination. When I assassinate a commander, all the troops that are assigned to him stop acting. They just go into the general province garrison. Oh, Karopos, you done good. You ended up crippled. That Bandar commander really stabbed you one. Let's actually watch that battle. That Bandar commander did a number on him. Yeah, Bandar commanders have high damage attacks. 1322, 1325. They actually have higher damage attacks than my Cryptes and more accurate. Well, you got the first hit in. But yeah, that was a 14 damage hit that crippled him. So after this, we must have just gotten lucky. Yep, we got a lucky hit in. Okay. So that's what happened there. Yeah, let's fly these guys in, and then we'll break out next turn. Clonios, you can have all your gear. And you, Clonios, are also going to get a flying squad. But I'm also going to give you a proper army. You can lead 20 of them. You can also lead the ogres and the fire drakes, however. So, these guys in a line, and they will hold an attack. Closest, I think they only have natural protection. They don't actually have any armor, so Legions of Steel doesn't help them. These guys, you get back here. You cast Summon Earth Power, Strength of Giants. Or, oh, you can cast Sow Dragon Teeth. Because I have that spell now. And then you're going to attack rear. You guys are... Oh, you're undisciplined. Shoot. Yeah, I forgot that griffins are undisciplined. Okay, so just summon Earth Power and attack rear, please. And these guys will attack closest enemy. They'll be a little bit back, and we'll have this undisciplined mass right ahead of them. Okay, Clonios, move up that way. And so now anybody that has 2 Earth can cast Sow Dragon Teeth. Assuming they have some gems, of course. Looks like Oceania is fighting Kailasa, which is good. I would like to get into a battle or two where Sow Dragon Teeth is deployed. Antiphanos is going to die next turn. He's diseased, limping, and has a never-healing wound. Tell you what. Clonios, let's send... Who has 2 Earth? Shedios, but that's about all. Archiptolum. I want to give you, like, 12 Earth Gems. You and Orontes go down here. You also move... Well, you just go take that guy out. We're going to move down here to join this army. You search for magic sites first. Actually, become the Prophet. Nah, just search for magic sites. And then we're going to attack one of these provinces down here and see how well Sow Dragon Teeth works. Ooh, these guys could really benefit from it. Clonios, I changed my mind entirely about you. What I want is, I want you to have your flying squad and a whole bunch of Earth Gems. I know I said I was saving Earth Gems up, but I changed my mind. So sue me. And I want you to jump over to them to share your Earth Gems with them. And you, right now, summon Earth Power and attack rear sounds good for you still, because you have all this thug melee gear that I want you to use. But once you get over here, to where we have all the Clockwork Horrors and infantry, I want you to help them, to pass out gems to them so they can sow Dragon Teeth. And of course up here, once Erithrai gets in here, he can sow Dragon Teeth as well. I would love it if Antiphanos was not going to die, but he is, and there's not much I can do about it. I can forge another Lightless Lantern. Okay. Yep, let's do that. 15 commanders are doing nothing. Keep moving. Oh yeah, because you were forging gear. Let's go back to recruiting E4s for just a minute. Let's just tell all these guys to research. For now. Just search for magic sites. You, Ferai. 134 unrest in Yieldmire, wow. You guys are just gonna patrol for the nonce. Okay, one more turn here. Ooh, we found a magic site in Urfel, the Tar Pits. Produces a fire gem, excellent. Battle in Belmar. Oh, he didn't move into the, fort. When he flew in, he attacked. Interesting. So wait, and he didn't get any kills. I bet I know why. I know why he didn't get any kills. Because they flew over, and I'm willing to bet they died almost instantly. Yeah, they got killed really quick. Why is he casting Fire Shield? I mean, it's a good idea, but I didn't script. Did I forget to script him? I forgot to script him. Because I thought he was going to move into the fort. And then I HP routed. Okay, that's fine, I hope. Okay, so he retreated into the fort. So fine, he's in the fort. That, whatever. However he got there, he's in the fort. And we're going to give him 4 earth gems. And I don't have any other 2 earth soldiers. So we are going to summon earth power. And then you are going to sow dragon teeth. It requires 1 gem at 3 earth. It'll cost you 50 fatigue. Let's sow dragon teeth 4 times. Conservative magic gem usage. And with 4 gems, you should be able to do that because you'll have a whole bunch of reinvigoration. Let's give you 8 gems. Don't tell you conservative. You cast Blessing. You cast Aim. You Phoenix Power. And then start chucking fireballs. Cast spells. You are casting Aim. And then Magma Bolts. And then casting spells. And you actually, I'm also going to give a whole bunch of Earth Gems. Because you are going to cast Blessing. Then you're going to summon Earth Power. And then you also are going to sow Dragon Teeth. As long as you can. How's our fort doing? Wall integrity still not really going down. They aren't really besieging me, which is weird. But we're gonna go in on it. Break the siege. We're gonna see what we can accomplish. Probably nothing. It's very likely that we can't really accomplish anything. But we are darn well gonna try. Then after we attempt to break the siege next turn, we'll talk a little bit about Mekone, about my conclusions about Mekone, and about strategy. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to finish this playthrough. I'm just kind of starting, to be honest, I'm starting to lose interest a little bit. I have, you know, other things going on, other games I want to play, other things I want to get into, and Mekone is just not the greatest. They're interesting, and they could be even more interesting, but they're really not as good as I want them to be. I want them to be fantastic. Probably Legions of Steel, and so Dragon Teeth times Tress. And then attack closest. So let's see how much damage that spell can really do. There shouldn't really be much here, so they may well not cast So Dragon Teeth, just for scripting reasons. But we will find out over here. Okay, so they moved down here. So Clonios. All of you, likewise, are going to get him up there. Let's get him up there. Summon Earth Power, Legions of Steel, and then sow some Dragon Teeth. Same for you. And then for you, summon Earth Power, Iron Skin, and sow Dragon Teeth. Great. And so these guys all attack them. So we'll have 3 battles. Odds are good that we'll be able to see it to some effect in at least 1 battle. At least up here, I think we'll be able to accomplish something with it. Okay, battle in Belmar. Let's view the battle first of all. Alright, so Here's our forces, our small little force. Over here is the much larger and more dangerous army of Kailasa. Our troops are going forward. We're summoning our various powers. We've got some shots going out. Okay, so there are the Spartae. Sown men, skeletal warriors in gleaming armors, sprung from the ground where dragon teeth are sown. Fight for the duration of the battle, but if victorious, they will soon dissolve. Okay, so basically these are much, much better Helot hoplites. They've got very high morale, good attack and defense skill. They've got gleaming armor equipment, and the golden spears, which are magical and with an attack bonus. So attack of 13, damage of 16, protection of 19, compared to my Helot hoplites, attack 11, damage 13, protection 17, and of course, morale 9. So basically, they're just much, much superior Helot hoplites. Which is fine. Much superior Helot hoplites are great. And the evocation squad is going ham on these guys back here. We've sown a whole bunch of dragon's teeth, and I think we're using them to very good effect, actually. Are you fatigued out yet? Not quite. Neither are you quite. So we've sown a whole bunch of dragon teeth here. We are getting some enemies through the line, but I feel like we might pull this off, to be honest. I mean, a lot of our troops are down, but we've got a whole lot of Spartoi back here, and the Spartoi are significantly better than Helots. It looks like... Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Did he retreat? No. No, he attacked. Okay, Erythrai is going in. Going in hard behind a wall of Spartae. He has been trapped. But the Spartoi are cleaning up shop. Yep, we won. Kailasa is routed. Wow. Okay, so Dragon Teeth is actually a great spell. I mean, Spartae ain't nothing to mess with. They're pierce resistant, even. They're inanimate. They're formation fighters. They have spirit sight, so they can see invisible units. They have magic weapons, so they can hit ethereal units. These guys are really, really good. Like, really, really good. Yeah, that was... Let's look at the casualties. I lost 1 E4, I lost all of my Clockwork Horrors, I lost basically all of my troops, but not my Polar March or 5 of my mages. And I killed 2/3 of the enemy army. Yeah, and look, the Clockwork Horrors, I mean, so they lost 83. If you add up these kills, 10, 25, 26, 28, 29. 29 kills. All the rest are either friendly fire from Yavanna archers and Atavi archers, which wasn't much, or it's Spartoi. The Spartae they're solid. They're very solid. In Pergami, this is just province defense. So I don't think a whole lot is going to happen. Am I even going to summon? Yeah, I've scripted it, so I'm probably gonna... Nope, they're not sowing Dragon's Teeth. They're not using, this isn't a tough enough fight for them to want to use gems, so they're not casting gem spells. That's fine. And in Gweladun... Let's see how this one went. So we've got a significant army, including 2 chariots. 3 chariots. Avite chariots are very, very rough. And we've got the Griffins landing to try and attack them. What? Why did they go backwards? Why did they go backwards, though? So we're summoning our Spartae. I'm worried about the chariots. If the chariots aren't taken care of, they will be able to just ride through the Spartae. That chariot's probably going to die quickly. That chariot actually is down to only 8 hit points. That chariot might be a problem because it still has 18. But we are just sowing the crap out of those dragon teeth. And we're dropping legions of steel on them to give them even more protection. Okay, we've used up all of our earth gems, so that's all the Spartoi we're going to get. But we've routed the armies of Hinnom. The Spartoi weren't even really needed, our giants did it. So yeah, we've conquered the province. We lost 45 and they only lost 28. That's mainly because all of our Clockwork Horrors were killed, which is what happens with Clockwork Horrors. This is why I don't like them. They go in, they cause a little bit of damage, and then they all die immediately. Our Griffins were also killed. Giant Hoplites did a lot of work. We killed the Avite commander, who got into the melee unwisely, and 2 of the chariots, as well as both of the Griffins, the Cave Drake, and a whole bunch of other units. Great. In Suthu, the Great White Bull came out and trampled all over our province defense because he hates us and wants us to die, which is fair. Barbarian's going to attack Honoria. A Lore Master has been wounded in Kishia, and they're also preparing for an attack there. So, okay. I'm going to wrap this video up here. I'm not going to play another turn. Mekone. In general, Mekone kind of has an unfortunate confluence of problems. They're slow, in the sense that it takes them a while to build up to the point where they can be highly effective. And they have a weak end game because they don't have access to sorceress paths. So they don't have a lot of the powerful spells, they don't have a lot of powerful combinations, they don't have a lot of powerful cross paths. Like, Fire and Death is a great cross path. Earth and Fire is a pretty solid cross path, and they have plenty of that, but they're limited in their toolkit. Forging-wise, they're actually pretty solid, because with the Cyclopes, they can forge a lot of high-level fire and earth equipment that is very, very effective for thugs, and I think leaning heavily on polemarches marches is kind of the way Mekone has to go in order to be highly effective. That said, they are really, really going to struggle against people with, well, magic, basically. I mean, astral magic. Magic resistance is... They have pretty good magic resistance, but they don't have a lot of access to things that improve magic resistance, which means later on things like Enslave are going to be a serious problem, because having a polar march taken over by an enemy communion would be a disaster, because polar marches are tough enough to kill other giants pretty effectively. Their monetary situation is very, very bad, and it makes for a lot of trouble. They do not get a lot of income from their forts, and most people get a lot of income from their forts. So money is like priority number 1 for Mekone, despite the fact that they have these Helot hoplites that are hugely gold efficient. They just cost so many resources. I mean, I run out of resources recruiting Helot hoplites long before I run out of gold, which is fair. And it's nice because it means that I can be crapping out Helot hoplites everywhere if I want to be. Giant hoplites are fantastic units. They're just so numerically limited. Like, if they weren't number limited, at this point I could be recruiting 6 or 7 a turn in my capital, which would be a lot better. They're, like I said, they're very, very solid, but they have to be massed up, and they're hard to mass. I think having easy access to a whole lot of powerful earth summons is good. I don't think Mekone is overall a powerful nation. They have too many limiters. The periodic cyclical unrest thing in their forts cripples their income. The steadily rising unrest in their forts cripples their income, and that just makes it even worse. Their troops being very resource intensive limits the size of their armies in the early game, and makes it hard for them to have a lot of mass and momentum going into the late game. I mean, the late game in Dominions is largely determined by how much land you've taken and how many mages you have. Like, that's it. Those are the relevant metrics. And as Mekone, you can't have all that many mages because they're all really expensive and you are already suffering for gold. And it's hard for you to have taken a whole lot of territory compared to your opponents, because your opponents in a multiplayer game are just as smart as you are, and they aren't struggling under your same limitations. So I think it's possible to win with Mekone, sure. I mean, they're not the worst nation out there, but I think you're going to have to be really, really good at leveraging their strengths. I think the fact that they have the splash of air in their Cyclopes is really powerful. It gives them access to air and water items, so they can do like this setup. This is a hugely effective thugging setup, because you can use the flying shoes to drop a polemarch armed with a thug weapon, a shield of gleaming gold, and some reinvigoration right into the back of the enemy lines and start killing their commanders as quickly as possible. So late game, I think you're going to see a lot of polemarches. I think you're going to see a lot of probably Earthquake from Mekone, with 3 Earth Archons or something that have... yeah, you get a 3 Earth Archon with a pair of flying shoes so he can fly. That means Earthquake doesn't affect him. You drop him into an enemy province, summon Earth Power, spam Earthquake out a couple of times, and leave. Or, I mean, against humans, you may well win if you can spam Earthquake 3 or 4 times. Hugely, hugely gem intensive, but it could work. You're going to see a lot of massed evocations, because Mekone can do massed evocations like nobody's business. I mean, without effort. Like, this gang up here, looks like they got beat in God's Tomb Mountains. What happened there? Must have been last turn and I didn't notice it. Oh well. But yeah, definitely massed evocations, definitely thugs. Beyond that, gonna be kind of hard. I like Sow Dragon's Teeth. Sow Dragon's Teeth is a great spell. I would almost say it's actually better than summoning Earth Elementals, because it covers more area. And sometimes covering area is what you need. The Spartoi are very hard to kill, and they do a reasonable amount of damage, especially if you can get a bunch of them, so they're all packed up 4 to a square. I don't know that it's enough to turn the tide. It's a good spell, but it's fairly late research and expensive, so you have to get to the late game in order to be able to use it. And I suspect in multiplayer, Mekone is going to struggle with going to the late game. I suspect they might get taken off the board before then in a lot of cases. One thing that I do definitely think can help Mekone is probably an awake, expanding Pretender God. Like, this guy is probably a bad idea. He's just a Cyclops. You can recruit Cyclopses. You don't need another Cyclops for your god. So I think it's probably a better idea to get an expanding monster chassis in order to help with that early game by taking a whole bunch of provinces. You will also be hugely, hugely helped if you can get hold of some good independent mages like lizard shamans or something that has a sorcery path that you can use to try and break into astral or death or anything that isn't fire and earth, which is basically all you have. So in any case, thank you everybody for watching Mekone. Unless there's a huge outcry asking for it to be finished, I don't think I'm going to finish this campaign, but it has been fun. And I do look forward to trying Mekone out in a multiplayer game sometime and seeing how right or how wrong I am. Of course, I never go into multiplayer games expecting to win. You know, at best, your odds of winning are 1 out of however many players are in the game. So if I lose as Mekone, I won't be surprised, but it will be an interesting experience for sure. And, of course, I just love watching giant Spartans stomp all over everybody. So in any case, thank you once again, and take care.